second grade Cougars. We're going to start talking about testing some materials to build our hand pollinator that will help Mariana learn how to build one for herself so that she can pollinate her bushes that came from Hawaii. I want us to remember what we need to do. So I have 2 flowers here. I guess I should have drawn a stem and maybe some leaves. Okay, so I have 2 flowers here, and this flower has all of its parts labeled. There's the pistil, there are the stamens, and up at the top is the pollen that's on top of the stamens. Now, flowers can't walk around. They cannot say, hey, just bend on over here and give me some pollen. Doesn't work that way, right? Flowers are not going to move. They cannot walk around. And also, the pollen from this flower cannot pollinate itself. The pollen from this flower must go to another flower. So we need to have something that will pick up the pollen and then drop off the pollen. So we don't want it just to be stuck to our pollinator. We want it to be able to leave the pollen at a new flower. All right? I want to look at some pictures of butterflies and some bees to get inspiration, because when we look to nature and we get some ideas, it's called biomimicry, and we look to nature and get some ideas to help us engineer a solution. Let's take a look.
Boys and girls, this is a bee, and you can see that there's hair all over the bee. And here's a butterfly. And when we look closely at the butterfly, it is also covered with lots of little hairs.
Okay, so we looked at some bees and a butterfly, and we saw that they're covered with hair and little spikes and things like that. So that allows the material, the pollen, to get stuck in their fur, into their little hair. And then, because of the properties of their fur and their hair on their bodies, they also drop off the pollen. So we need to look at some other things. We need to test some materials to see if we can make our own hand pollinator. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I got some black construction paper, and I got a little cup, and I cut a hole in it as if it's the pistil, right? This is the pistil of the flower. And then I have another cup, and I have it upside down, and I'm going to put some cornstarch on top. So the cornstarch is going to represent the pollen, okay? And I'm going to test a bunch of different things. I'm going to test a marble, some tape, an eraser, some aluminum foil, pom-pom, and a pipe cleaner. Now, you can test these things at home if you'd like, or you can just go off of my results here. Okay, so I'm going to test a marble. Now, I'm going to make a prediction. A marble is not going to work at all. How can a marble work? It's smooth. What we saw from the pipe cleaner was that, from the bee, it was covered with little hairs. All right, so that's my prediction. You guys can make your own prediction. That's what I think. Okay, so I'm going to take a marble, and I'm going to dip it into the cornstarch. Oh my gosh. Boys and girls, look at this. The marble has cornstarch on it. Okay, what was my prediction? Right, my prediction was that's not going to work at all. And it actually has cornstarch stuck to it. I did not think that was going to work. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to drop it off here at this cup. So I'm going to tap and see if any of the pollen comes off. Looks like there's still a lot on there. Ooh, look at this. No pollen came off. So I'm kind of surprised because the marble picked up a lot of pollen and didn't drop any off. I'm going to do it again because scientists do experiments more than one time. Okay, I'm going to put it in the cornstarch. Yes, it picked it up. I'm gonna see if it drops it off. I don't want to have any cornstarch from my hands. 1, 2, 3. No, it didn't drop any off. I guess the smooth marble keeps the pollen on. Okay, I would say the marble is not a good choice. It picks up pollen, but it doesn't let go. Okay, the next one is some tape. Okay, I'm gonna take some tape. Now, tape seems like it'll be really good at picking up pollen. I don't know how good it's gonna be at letting it off, letting it go. So I'm gonna use the sticky side. Oh yeah, you see all of that? A lot of pollen. Now I'm gonna see if it lets it go. So it did let some go. The problem is, boys and girls, when I pick this up, the pollen falls off. So you might have to just take my word for it. So I'll try it again. Oh, there's a little bit, maybe you can see a little bit there. Now, there's two sides to the tape. So I'm gonna try the other side of the tape and see if it works as well. I'm not gonna use the sticky side this time. I'm gonna use the other side. It didn't pick up as much. And it didn't drop off very much. So I would say that if we're going to use tape, we should use the sticky side. Okay. Eraser. I know this seems a little odd, but we'll see. My prediction. I did not think that the marble was going to be any good. I'm going to say the eraser might be okay. I'm going to dip it into the cornstarch. Oh my gosh. It's covered in cornstarch. All right, so now we have to see whether it will drop it off. It dropped off a lot of cornstarch. I am surprised that the eraser was so good. So a property of the eraser is that it picks up things. Okay, well that makes sense. It's an eraser. It wipes the stuff off of the paper. I guess I should have thought about that. Okay, eraser, pretty good. Okay, aluminum foil. So, the aluminum foil, that's interesting. It's very shiny. It's very flexible. I'm going to try just dipping it straight in when it's nice and flat. Okay, it picked up some cornstarch, not a lot. I picked up some. I'm gonna try dropping it off. Yeah, it didn't drop off very much at all. But you know what? I can change the aluminum foil. I'm gonna crumple it into a ball. So now there's all these little crevices and folds. Now I'm gonna try it again. And it doesn't look like it picked up very much. I'm gonna see how it is when I drop it off. Oh, I guess I just couldn't see it in the little fold in the cracks. But there's quite a bit of pollen that the aluminum foil picked up. I'm surprised. I'm gonna put it here as a keeper. Okay, next one, pom-pom. Boys and girls, I don't have any pom-poms at school right now. So I'm gonna use a cotton ball. Maybe you have a cotton ball at home. Ask your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, somebody who maybe they have cotton balls. So I'm gonna try a cotton ball instead of a pom-pom. Here I go. I'm dipping it in, I'm testing. Ooh. Now, unfortunately, it's white, so you can't see, but maybe you can see there's actually a lot of pollen. It picked up a lot of pollen. Okay, so it picked up a lot of pollen, but so did the marble. Let's see if it lets go of a lot of pollen. Wow! It let go of a lot of pollen. So it's a keeper, right? It picked up a lot of pollen, and now it let go of a lot of pollen. All right, fantastic. Okay? And the last one is a pipe cleaner. Now, I don't have any brand new pipe cleaners at school in the science lab, so I'm using one that I've used before, and that's okay. I'm going to fold it over, kind of like this. Now, when I look at this, it really makes me think of a bee's leg. And the bee, remember the bee was all covered with little hairs? This really makes me think about that. All right, here I go. I'm gonna dip it into the pollen. Wow, look at all the pollen stuck to the pipe cleaner. Okay, now, whoops, I don't want any pollen on there. I'm gonna drop it off and see if it lets go. Ooh, a good amount of pollen. Wow. Okay, so boys and girls, right now I have 4 materials that I've tested that I think worked pretty well. I tested an eraser. 2 thumbs up. I am totally surprised. Aluminum foil. It worked great at picking up and dropping off the pollen. The cotton ball was super great. And so was the pipe cleaner. Okay, so based on this, next week we're going to design and build a hand pollinator that we can use to pollinate flowers.